What's up, man? If you don't know anything about me, my name is Luke Strassener. I used to play college football, used to make lots of excuses, and I've lost 110 pounds since I stopped making those excuses and finally figured out how to stay consistent. And that's exactly what this video is about. So if you've been making excuses for your entire life and feeling regretful over that, shit, man, I used to be in the same exact position. So we're going to get right into that, and I'm going to show you my story, what I used to overcome it, and how you can do it too. So, number one thing that always bugged me with being overweight wasn't actually looking in the mirror and seeing the fat. It wasn't looking in the mirror and seeing my love handles hang over the side of my pants or my big ass gut. Like that sucked. Yeah, that really did not feel good. But that wasn't the number one reason why I was unhappy. The real reason at the top of my list that I hated myself when I was 320 pounds was the reason that I was fat. It wasn't just looking in the mirror, it was the reason behind that because I knew that I could have been better. Playing college football, playing as an offensive lineman, yeah, I had to be big, but I didn't have to be 320. Deep down, I knew that my best football was played around 280 to 290. And yeah, I still use the excuse of I have to keep on weight to play football. And the way that I did that was eating like shit, binge eating, eating my feelings, and it all stemmed back to using my circumstances as excuses, not as reasons to succeed. And my entire life I did that. I played football for a decade, and my entire life it was always just me trying to find excuses in everything that I did. It was getting the stimulus from life and me filtering that out as a negative thing, no matter what it was. But it was always food that I just used to actually make myself happy when I was unhappy instead of actually just feeling the emotions and handling the underlying issues. It was, I'm going to go eat. And the way that I justified that to myself in the moment was football and getting strong and putting on muscle in the gym. When really all of those should have contributed to me succeeding with my nutrition and truly taking control of my nutrition. Because obviously, if I took control of my nutrition, I would have been a better athlete. There was only a handful of guys on the football team in college that were truly locked in with their nutrition, and you could tell because those guys really excelled. I was not one of them. I had a lot of potential, and I never reached it. And for a while, that bugged me. But now I realize that by when I quit college football to get healthy, I was actually changing my goal from reaching my potential in football to reaching my potential in life. So it's one of the biggest things that I've found is when you change your goals from one thing to another, you're going to change the true outcome of your life. It's not just, and how you can apply that is, say with fat loss, if you just want to lose 20 pounds in the next 3 months, like that's great. That's a good goal. It's totally doable. But what if we wanted to be healthy for the rest of our life and live a sustainable diet that could actually fuel us to not only get stronger and look better in the gym, but to actually make us feel better when we look in the mirror? Because when I eat the way that I do now, I look in the mirror, I see abs, which is cool, but I see the man behind the abs has actually conquered the binge eating. He's conquered the emotional eating. He's not the same version of Luke that would drown his feelings with food. And that's what makes me happy. So when I say abs don't make me happy, that's exactly what I mean. It's cool to look at abs, but what truly makes me happy is the man behind the abs. And that's what fat loss is about. Because when I first started losing weight, I thought that losing the fat was just about looking better in the mirror. I thought that it was just about getting that gratification and getting other people to recognize that I was worth something outside of just football. But now I realize that it's a very selfish and internally motivated thing if you're truly going to do it right. And you have to get accountability from outside sources, right? So for me, that's my girlfriend. If I fuck up in front of her, I can't live with that. But I also can't fuck up in front of myself. I know that when I don't do the actions that I need to do, when I don't do my 30 minutes of movement first thing in the morning, when I don't hit my protein goal, when I'm not under my calories, and when I don't earn my consistency meal, I know that there's a version of Luke out there that beat me today, and I can't live with that. And one of the biggest reasons that I was actually able to shed the excuses and lose 100 pounds is by realizing that we are not defined by our stimuli. We are defined by our responses. You can give me now and the me version of me when I was 320 two totally different. You can give them the same stimulus and you will get two totally different responses. You give the old version of me a long ass day of writing code and then going to the gym, working out hard as hell, and then coming home tired, doesn't want to make food, and he's going to go to Little Caesars. He's going to feel sorry for himself, and he's going to feel really good in the moment of eating the pizza. Then for the rest of the night, he's going to feel shitty, not only physically, because obviously the food doesn't really make you feel good, taste good, but mentally he's going to know that he could have been better, and that tomorrow he's going to wake up and regret the actions that he took today. But you can give me the same stimulus now, and I'm not perfect, but I'll make a hell of a lot better decision than he would. I'll pull some ground chicken out of the freezer, season it up all nice, and make a little Asian ground chicken bowl. That's the difference. It's so simple. But tomorrow, when I would look back on today, I would feel thankful. I'd feel gratitude for the actions I took. And that helped me shed the excuses, because those stimuli that we get in life, they don't define us. The responses that we do. Because my whole life, I would always just use football as an excuse, and it should have been my reason to control my nutrition, not my excuse. Getting off after a long day of practice, and I'd get home, feel like shit, tired, angry. I would use football as the excuse to eat like shit. It's the excuse to not take control of my life, and the excuse to not delay the gratification. And then the tomorrow or the day after that, I would wake up, go to practice, do it all again. And then as I was eating the shitty food, this is the weirdest part of it all. In the moment, I would eat the shitty food and then be mad at myself for doing the same thing yesterday. Be eating the shitty food, like, with not a lot of protein in it, with some shitty fat in there, and then wonder why I did the same thing yesterday when I could have just fixed it in the moment. Because in the moment, all I felt was the stimulus. All I felt that after a long day, that's just what you had to do. And yeah, I still love to eat pizza. I still love to eat good foods. I still have those in my diet almost every day. But I earn it now, and that gives me control over it. Because that control, that response that I have defines me. Not the stimulus of writing code at my desk job all day, getting off work, not wanting to go to the gym, going anyways, having an amazing workout, feeling great afterwards. See how it all changes depending on your response, not the stimulus. And one of the biggest reasons that I finally realized that the stimulus is what defines us, and how I finally stopped the excuses, was when I quit football. Because there's a version of me out there that quit football and is fatter than he was when he did play football. And I realized that day when I quit football and I wanted to binge eat that night because I was stressed and I was unhappy. And I did feel a lot of relief when I did it that day, but I was stressed. I was worried about the future. I was scared. There's a version of me out there that binge ate that night. But the version of me today, that lost all the weight. He didn't. And it started a streak of positive responses. And once you start building that momentum, it becomes easier the next day to make the same choice. You can't forget where you came from. You can't forget that you made the right choice yesterday and how that happened, the work that it took. But it makes it easier because momentum is real. And quitting football made me realize that there was no way back. And it's impossible to make excuses for yourself when there's no way back. One of our core tenets in football was to burn the boats, which if you've never heard that before, essentially like the way that I always envisioned it was these Vikings getting off on a ship to raid England or something. And they burn their longships because there's no going back. They're going to conquer England and they're going to raid all the monasteries, right? That's burning the boats. When I quit football, I burned the boats. There was no going back. I went all in on myself for the first time in my entire life. And I lost 110 pounds because of it. And I shed all the excuses. And I did everything that I set out to do. And now I've got new goals. And by coming on here and telling you guys all of the things that I'm going to do and how I did it in the past and how I'm going to get these crazy cuts on my abs and how I'm going to get to this 315 and eventually the 405 bench, I'm giving myself no way back because I'm telling other people about my goals. And I'm finding that out accountability externally as well as internally. And that's huge in stopping the excuses. It's impossible to do it alone. Because if you could have done it alone, you would have done it already. And I didn't do it alone. I told my girlfriend exactly what I was going to do. I told the people around me exactly what I was going to do. I wrote it down. I told myself every single day exactly what I was going to do, and that held me accountable. Because internal accountability, when you are overweight for your entire life, you don't have it. You don't have it. I know I didn't. There was a reason that I couldn't control my nutrition, even though I was a quite talented athlete for not doing that. At 320 pounds, I ran a 5-second 40, a 5 flat 40, which is like what some of the NFL guys do. And yet, imagine what I could have done with controlling my nutrition, with taking control of everything. But I couldn't find that accountability internally. Someone who could have squatted 530 pounds for reps, someone who ran up a hill 20 times, and on the sixth rep, he was puking running up the hill. Yet he pushed himself to go 14 times more up that hill. Every single rep, something came up. Every single rep. Yet I still couldn't find the internal accountability. Why? Because when I'm in the gym, when I was in the gym and I squatted 530, or when I was running up that hill, there was people pushing me to be better. And that's what it takes. It can't just do it by yourself. It takes a community. It takes other people. Doing it alone is the worst way to do it. Because if I would have tried to do it all alone and wouldn't have found any external support or accountability on my journey, I never would have done it. I never would have been able to break the excuses because it just would have been me. It's just me in my head with those excuses. Yet the moment that I went all in, told everybody what I was going to do, told my roommates, told my girlfriend, told my parents, there was no way back. Because I wasn't just going to disappoint myself at that point. I was going to disappoint them too. And after a certain point of being fat for my entire life, I had grown used to disappointing myself with my nutrition and my health and the way I looked in the mirror. But when the decision became to disappoint them too, I couldn't do it. Because even though I didn't have a lot of self-worth because of my lack of nutrition, a lot of guilt there, I had a lot of worth with the people around me and the people who believed in me, the people who gave me the accountability that I needed, and I could not let them down. You can't go through this alone. There's no temporary workarounds to this. They all lead you back to being the same spot now, whether it's fucking Ozempic, whether it's keto, whether it's carnivore, whether it's fasting till 5 p.m., which caveat, I fast until about 9 or 10 a.m., which I mean I don't skip breakfast, I just delay it. All of those things are not sustainable for life. Everything that I've created, I could literally do for the rest of my life and not see results. Yet 2 days ago, I hit a all-time low of 208 pounds, which is officially 113 pounds down. All because I finally learned how to just drop the excuses by finding external accountability, external support. Because I'll leave you with this. Every single time, every single time that I gave myself a way back, I took it. Every single time that I didn't go all in, I went back. Every single time that I didn't burn the boats, I took them back to the other shore. Because the moment that first true adversity hits, about 2 to 3 weeks in on that fat loss diet, if you're not fully committed, you're going to take it. You're going to go back to where you are now. And it doesn't matter how sick of your life you are right now. The way you feel right now does not matter to you in 3 weeks when you're going through the shit. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Yet the moment that you go all in and decide to truly change your life, and you burn the boats, there's no going back. You realize that the adversity isn't even that hard. It's just your mind was telling you that you're uncomfortable right now. But what you have to tell your mind is that being uncomfortable is exactly where you want to be, because that leads to growth. And the longer you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, the more growth will happen. Because I was comfortable my entire life with my nutrition. It didn't matter what I ate. I lost 50 pounds in high school and then put 70 back of the wrong type because I was comfortable. But the moment that I got uncomfortable, got out of my comfort zone, and I quit college football and made all of these promises and told everybody around me exactly what I was going to do, I made the real progress. And after a lifetime of having coaches to hold me accountable, I had to find different ways to do that. And for you, if you've never had that experience, it's tough to imagine. But internal accountability can only be built by first having external accountability, because other people will hold you to a higher standard than you can hold yourself at first, because the self-worth is just so low. And that's I can't speak exactly for his situation, but my client Carter, he had struggled with his weight for years. I mean, for years. And then he went all in on himself and he made the investment to work with me. And in his first month, he's lost 12 pounds. 12 fucking pounds. Working 60 to 70 hours a week right now, if not more. And he gets off work at around 7 to 8 p.m., maybe 9 p.m. sometimes, and he still hits the workout I give him. He still does it because he knows that if he doesn't, I'm going to know. And at that point, he's not just letting himself down, he's letting me down. And he went all in. He gave no reason for him to go back. He burnt the boats. And that's why he's seeing this insane progress, because he burnt the boats. He gave up his excuses. And there's no going back. This is just his life now. And in 2 months, it's going to be unrecognizable. And the smile that I see on his face every single time that I get on a one-on-one call with him, it genuinely makes me feel happier to see him win than when I did. So if that's something that you need in your life, not want, I don't want guys that just want to lose weight. I need guys like me, the old me, that are so sick of their life that they feel they have to lose the weight, then hit that Calendly link in my description or just message me on Instagram. The Instagram is going to be the first link in the description. Shoot me a message and then we can talk about it. And I want to leave you with this. The stimulus you are provided by life does not define you. Your response does.